So, evening, and welcome to episode 3 of the little Tunnelbarnfarm mini-series. Open match, I guess. It's worth talking about the match I fished today. Loads of fish, fantastic stream, not a lot of weight. Just looking at the results here on my other screen, I finished 22nd out of 27 anglers with a weight of £57 and 8 ounces. And the match was won with £153 6 ounces with 8 weights over £100. Most of those coming from house pool, just one on extension as it happens. So house pool fished much better than extension, and I was sitting on house pool, so I thought it was worth just sort of having a post-match analysis of what happened today, and why I didn't catch as many fish. When I look back at what happened during the day, it wasn't due to the weather, it wasn't due to the wind blowing past me. The guy on my left hand side, he went in £114 1 ounce, and the guy on my right hand side, he also caught relatively well on the house, and he caught I think his weight was £86 10 ounces. So they caught either side of me, and the guy opposite me, he did really well. I think it was that fella there with £131 8 ounces. So there was loads of fish in the area. Look at the match, several things happened, and I'm going to just try and talk through them because it's something I want to eradicate from the match next week and then the festival. And a little bit, in through the keyhole style, there was a few signs that I didn't pick up on, that I think now looking back on them, I should have picked up on them. Right, and we'll start with what was going on before the match. I got there early today, just after 7:30. The draw was at 9. I had a walk around. I checked in, got my pools done. Checked in. I paid my pools, and I bought some maggots. Then all the other anglers were arriving, and generally when I fish the Daiwa pole masters, you can see everyone coming out with their bait. I didn't see anyone coming out with their bait today, which leads me to believe that I was one of the only anglers that bought maggots. That's the first thing. Second sort of sign through the match. I talked about it quite a lot. The guy to my right and the guy to my left just looked like they were fishing meat. To their left, to their right, and in front of them. That looked like that was their whole approach. I think I made some comments that I didn't see anyone else fishing a longer line than top kit +1. The guy in front of me he was fishing top kit +2 or top kit +3 to get to the platform to his right, fishing down his edge. But the guys to the left and right of me, they weren't fishing long at all. And I thought at the time it was maybe because of the wind, but now on reflection, I don't think it was. I think it was because they knew that fishing short with meat was a good idea. So I should have twigged that no one was buying bait, but I don't think, that's an easy thing to say in hindsight. And once I sort of started my match, it would have been maybe a bit better if I'd have paid attention to the anglers around me. I think I'd made my plan. I talked a lot about fishing left hand, right hand, edge, down the track. I think I got a bit stuck in that plan. The next thing that I think I got a little bit wrong was sort of spiraled from there down the edges. I was throwing bait, I wasn't potting it. I liked it, but when I went down on both the edges, there wasn't a load of fish lined up. It was a bit scatty. I think when I saw that, I should have maybe made a bigger effort to try and put that bait in a single area. I should have potted the bait down the edges to the left and to the right. I've been hypercritical of myself, by the way. You can only fish the match that you fish, but the fact that I'm doing this little summary of my match, and I've had some chats about it afterwards since I finished, and I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at the results and that type of stuff. It's quite good to try and analyse what went wrong. So I think my edges were a bit scatty. The next thing, I think I had an issue with my expectation and patience. I think within the first half an hour maybe, I'd had £5. Maybe in the first hour I'd had £10. And I said, right, I'm going to come off. I'm going to come off that short line. It's not doing its thing. It's not good enough. I'm going to have a look around. In the next hour, I don't think I caught any more fish than I caught in the first hour. And I didn't think about that enough. And maybe that should have triggered me to think, actually, I should just go back on the meat line. As you get later on in the match, as I can't sort of catch left hand edge, right hand edge, can't catch shallow, caught some roach, catapulting maggots, and I'm catching some skimmers. Now, that's probably been the biggest issue that I've had catching those skimmers, because one, they didn't weigh a lot. Two, it stopped me fishing the meat line. 3, it stopped me thinking that I wasn't doing well enough. Trouble was, I was enjoying catching, I was chatting on the stream, that was all good. But if I think about what was going on, the first couple of skimmers, they were decent size, and they got smaller and smaller and smaller, and I came off the line, then I went back on the line. And if I play it all through again, I think if I just stayed on that short line with meat, I would have had a better result than I had overall. You could see by the end of the match, the peg had come good. I was catching on meat. I'd caught the carp. I'd catching a few F1s. They were decent sized F1s. I'd had a good last 30 minutes to the match, but I had a shockingly terrible previous 3 hours. I think the carp down the left-hand edge was a distraction. I don't think it's quite right yet. I think that meat is predominantly winning the matches. Now, if I try and do some research and, try and understand what these top 10 people did for the day, I might get a better idea. But I'm fairly sure they fished meat short. So when we come to next week, there's a danger that things change, but the weather's pretty much the same, rubbish, for next week. Bit of sun, bit of rain, bit of sun, and bit of rain. I'm confident that meat is going to be the approach. Doesn't mean I'm not going to take everything else, right? If I draw a particular peg where I've got cover on the far bank, or there's some feature, or I think maggot might work, I'm going to have it with me. The worst is that I just turned the maggot to caster and I just used it, in a pleasure session. But I think that if I'm going to do well in this competition next week, I need to focus on my meat fishing. I need to focus on being patient. I need to focus on getting in my head that if I fish well during the session, then the peg will come good towards the end of the day. If I keep feeding those lines, there's a good chance that the fishing is going to get better throughout the day, and I think that's going to serve me well. Incidentally, I had a couple of other conversations about the type of meat. I've got a Joe Carras video in front of me right now. I'm just going to bring it up, which I should be able to do relatively simply. So let's just listen to what Joe says for a second.
1 tin of 6mm. I'm using Spam today because it's what the shop had. I'm not that fussy. That Onca stuff, if you can get that, is a nice meat. Tulip's good but a bit soft. Royal Dane, I'm not that fussy. As long as
Tulip's good, but it's a bit soft. Now, I've been talking about issues with the meat coming off the hook for the last 2 sessions that I've been fishing. And both the times I've been using tulip meat that I got from Tesco. So, it's a source of different type of meat. I had a conversation about leaving the meat out. And was that a good idea or not a good idea? But the view is that maybe that dries the meat out and then it floats. That's not what we want. But I need a meat that's going to be a bit more robust on the hook. And I think that tulip isn't the one. So I'm going to have to try and source some princes. I think it's the other one, or something else. But we're going to have a look. Or I'm going to have to fish Spam. Maybe that's an option too. So that's the sort of summary. I had a thoroughly enjoyable day today. But I've caught... what have I ended up with? £57. I've caught 1/3 of the winning weight. right? Winning weight, fantastic. £153, 6 ounces. And if I'm going to do well next week, I need to not have days like that. Sort of talk to myself into the fact that I was catching something and it was good. I was putting fish in the net. But I think this is one of those classic times at Tunnel Barn Farm where you've got to have patience in what you're doing, and you've got to stick with your guns. And I think today was a meat match. Anyway, that's it. That's episode 3. Episode 4 isn't going to air till after the whole event. So I'm fishing the open match next Sunday, then I'm straight into the festival. So I'm going to have to prep in the evening some bits. I'm not going to get time to do this. So the next episode will be episode 4, when it'll be a summary of the festival. I've enjoyed this little mini series. I might do some more on trying to catch some carp in the river, or ventures trying to catch barbel. I'm not sure. I might even try and do a little podcast version, bring someone on the channel and have a conversation about some fishing. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I hope you're enjoying it. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. If you turned up today for the stream, fantastic. I had 49 concurrent viewers, which is amazing. That's the best I've ever done. I hope you enjoyed the fishing. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Ta-da.